Hello, this is the Tradesight U.S. Stocks and Futures Market Preview for Wednesday, the 19th of November, 2014. Hope you're having a good trading week. We had a nice day on Tuesday in terms of stocks, futures, and Forex, all big winners for us here at Tradesight, especially in the early stock market hour or so. Volume was light, only 1.5 billion on the NASDAQ, and we'll look at that in a moment compared to recent days, but generally speaking, it was a great trading session, which is good when you have light volume to pull that off. We did get, as you can see here, here's the ES front month futures contract, closed at new highs for the year. And here's a look at the NASDAQ side. NASDAQ gained 28, also closed at new highs for the year. S&P gained 10, closing at new highs for the year. SOX was up 12 points, not quite to new highs for the year, but very close to it. Looking for a breakout there potentially. And here's the biotech index staging a high range based breakout. Here's Google. It was down for the day, 2 points. Apple up $1. We'll take a quick look at the VIX, which was down 0.13. Not a big deal there. Crude oil inventories. Crude oil closed at 74.17. That's the lowest close in a while. And gold was up a little bit at 1196.60. Take a look at that volume number. You can see 1.5 billion shares on the NASDAQ for the close of the session. And what we're going to do here real quick is add the 10-day moving average of volume back into the mix here. And you can see that the 10-day moving average is back down to 1.66. So we come back from summer, climbed steadily in September and October with volume. October was a great month overall volume-wise. And now we're slipping back down, which is a strange time of year for it. Usually November is decent. If we scroll back and look at last November, you can see it wasn't until the very end of the month, which is Thanksgiving, of course, where we dipped back. Other than that, we were in pretty good shape for most of November. Matter of fact, November was the high point of the back end of the year volume-wise. So to see it drop off the way that it has so far is kind of disappointing. Here's a look at December's volume, and of course the last week of December for sure, and maybe a couple days, starting with a couple days before Christmas even. Things do drop off, so it's a very holiday environment. But before that, usually it stays up reasonable. So the fact that it is dropping off here in November is a little disappointing to see. But at any rate, we'll see what that gives us ultimately. So what are we looking at for Wednesday? Well, the main factor on Wednesday is going to be that we have options expiration this week, which means potentially options unraveling on Wednesday. That's the most common day for it to happen. Here's a look at the ES in 5-minute formation from Tuesday. Open flat, ran up hard. We had a nice futures play. We had several stock picks trigger and work well. Bounced off the VWAP once. That's the purple line you can see there. Drifted higher straight over the afternoon, but volume really dropped off over lunch, and stock side volume was not very good. Topped out with about an hour left and then came back, and look where we closed, right on the VWAP. Isn't that interesting? So again, for Wednesday, we'll be looking for options unraveling move. We'll be guiding people through that in the lab if it happens. Hopefully get a little better action volume-wise than what we saw on Monday and Tuesday so far. We could get that on Wednesday, maybe Thursday. But then Friday, of course, is going to be expiration itself, and that's not normally very interesting. In terms of economic data, Wednesday, housing starts and building permits an hour before the bell. Crude oil inventory is an hour in, and the Fed minutes 2 p.m. Eastern time. And Thursday, we've got a bunch of data, the weekly initial and continuing jobless claims, CPI, existing home sales, Philly Fed, leading indicators, and natty gas. No data on Friday when options expire. Hope to see you in the trading lab. Have a great week. Charts as usual brought to you by eSigma.